we learn select this thing, column 1, column 2 from a table, order by a column. So let me go next row, order by a column, let's say 1, either ascending or descending, then column 2, ascending, descending, and semicolon. So this is content of chapter 4, right? So just select class. All right, now we want to move to chapter 5. So chapter 5, it is a slightly different topic, and it is about expressions. So expressions are basically any changes that we make on the column, any change. So what is the changes? So let's say you combine the content of the two columns. You subtract or multiply a number on the value of the prices. For example, you want to see what is going to be the sales if you add the value of the tax, right? So 8.25, what's going to be the value of the sales, right? So it's all going to be expressions. So expressions are the changes that we do on the columns. Now, this means the changes, they depend on the data type of the columns. For example, when you want to add 2 columns, either they are the same data type or, right? Otherwise, it doesn't make sense you adding them. You do multiplication on the numeric values, right? You don't do on the string values, right? So it depends on the data type. So we talk about expressions in terms of the data type. So when we have numbers, you can do all kind of basic algebraic stuff, right? Basic math, right? Multiplication, subtraction, and division, and all kind of stuff, right? For example, select. All right, so all basics, like for example, select 2 plus 4. So here you are adding 2 and 4. So the result is 6, right? Or there are some functions that it is developed for math as well. For example, square root. So square root of 100 is 10, right? So this is a known function. Now there are other functions as well. For example, select round. So it is used for rounding the number. For example, 175 is going to be rounded up to number 2, right? It depends the digits after the decimal, right? So these are functions, and there are other functions as well. For instance, we have ceiling, right? So ceiling. So it is pretty much same as a row. So 1.1 is going to be 2. So it is ceiling. So it is not ceiling. So it is going to be second number, right? And there is a floor as well. So it is going to be 1.9 is going to be 1. Okay, so let's give the example. So here in the table of product, we want to multiply by price by 10%. So we want to increase the buy price by, let's say, 10%, right? So by 1.1 from products, right? So that's going to increase the price of the products by 10%, right? So here, this is original, this is the value. Here you see the digits are, they're not beautiful. So truncate is a function that you can make the number of digits that you want to see. So here, the number of the digits after decimal is going to be 2. So it's going to be more beautiful. So 53.69, for example. So that's more appealing number, right? So truncate is the number and the number of digits that you want to see after decimal. So these are the common functions that you generate. So this is numbers. Now, we want to deal with string data type now. So now we want to move to string. String data types are like a name, address, and so on, right? So the type, you can use functions such as lowercase. So lower means that it's going to be in the lower. For example, if we go to the customers and put customer name, all is going to be lowercase. So that's right. So everything is lower. There is another function, it's called lcase, which is same as the lowercase. So either one is fine, right? Then you have ucase, the reverse of this, which is uppercase. So everything is going to be uppercase or upper, like so upper or ucase, both are exactly the same. Then you have length. So it returns the length of digits, how many characters each name has, it right? So it's kind of functions that they are useful. Then the next type of function that we have, it is called concat. This is a very useful function. So this concat, basically, it is the function that used to combine the content of the two tables. So two columns, column 1 and column 2 from a table. So this is the way that we use, right? So here, the result is going to be one column while we are combining the column 1 and column 2. For example, if I apply this to the table of employees, and I put first name and last name here, you are going to get a single column which represents the first name and last name of the customer. Now here you can see there is no space. So here you need to manually insert space. So this is a space, right? So this is called, it has a fancy name. It is called literal value. It's a constant that it is applied for every row, right? So here you can see the concat first name, comma, space, comma, last name, and then you can see Diane Murphy and Marie Peterson and so on, right? So it shows the two columns under one column. Now, if you look at the header column here, it is kind of crowded. So you can simplify this one by using as expression and give the name that you want. Imp name, for example. I put this one as an employee name, right? So the column header is going to change to the employee name, right? So that's the name or alias name that we gave to this expression. Make sense? Now, this is pretty much everything about string. Now, we want to move to the third data type, which is date and time. So date and time is the data type that they are dealing with the date and time and the date and time, okay? So there are functions that they are very useful. For example, per time. So it shows the current time, right? So per date. So it shows the current date, right? And then we have another function that it is called sysdate. So current time is a current time, per date is a current date, but sysdate is a date and time. That means it has both time and the date. You see here, it shows both element of the date and time, right? Make sense? So these are useful functions. For example, if you go to Walmart or any other store and make purchase, you would see this on top of your receipt, right? The date and the time that the purchase happened, right? The transaction of the purchase happened. There are functions such as a year. For example, if I apply per date, it's going to give the year element of this one. So here it says 2023. So here I'm combining two functions together. So even this could be 2021, 12, 25, for example, is date, right? So here you can see it returns the year part of it. The same thing for the month. You can do the month as well. It's just, or you can do month name as well, which is another function which returns the name of the month. You can see, you can apply day as well. And there are other functions related to month and date, right? So that's how you apply the functions or expressions on the date and time elements. So these are the most common date time functions are.